Arriving at a new venue and navigating the check-in process can be unpredictable and overwhelming for some guests. As the initial point of contact and first impression, this part of the journey sets the tone for someone's stay and is an opportunity to foster inclusion. In this video, we'll hear firsthand from Rebecca, a neurodivergent traveller, about her experiences during arrival and check-in. She'll share many of the challenges and barriers faced, as well as what providers can do to make this process more inclusive.
So the experience of check-in is when you arrive, often it can be hard to find the reception. It's not very often labelled, or it might be in a separate section or sometimes even level of the building. So that's usually the first thing you're looking for. It can also be crowded depending on what time of day you're going or what time of the season or what event's on in the hotel that you're actually arriving in. So again, if there's a lot of people around, it can be noisy, it can be hard to work your way through the crowd to get to the right spot with your luggage without feeling like you're enclosed in, or that you're trying to get through without pushing people necessarily, or trying to find your way. And then I would say another thing that I find about when you arrive at the hotel and reception is often the background music and the level of volume that can create. So if people are having to talk over that in crowds, it can make it more difficult as well to have that multitude of noises. And depending on the type of music, sometimes can add that bass level that can make it really hard to concentrate on what you're doing and where you're going at a specific time. Yeah, the check-in process can often be quite stressful because you're concentrating on getting to a certain point, often after a long journey, but not always. So whether that's a flight or a car trip as well that's added to it. So you're already at a level of stress of trying to figure out your day. And then the other components around you, the noise, the number of people, the smells, can add to that stress level when you arrive. And then you often forget what you're meant to do when you actually get to reception, and all the things you might want to ask when you get there. Sometimes you lose because you've been distracted by all the noises and smells and sounds around you. So I think some of the methods that might help with check-in are around having a PDF or an email that specifies the process, has a map potentially of where reception is, how to enter the building, where to park, or where the local public transport spots are, and then the directions to the hotel from that. And then, yeah, a list of instructions that show you exactly what to do on check-in, if they allow baggage to be left, what time early check-in might be, and if there's a fee associated with that, as well as to having potentially either a quiet room or a quiet space where you can fill out your paperwork if it's needed, or collect your thoughts while you're waiting for check-in and that check-in process. So whether even that hotels have a certain check-in quiet time for a certain specific part of the day, or list their times that are most likely to have less people in reception, appreciating that will change with seasons and events and other components. But that might attract a lot of other people as well to those quiet times that are wanting no background music or more space for that check-in process. I think the most positive stay experiences for me have all come down to the check-in staff, how they interact and how they can sometimes make me feel calmer in a situation where I do feel overwhelmed and I'm struggling to ask the right questions or understand their responses. They often will write it down for me or say, when you get to your room, feel free to call us and ask us some of these questions again if they're not so clear. So I think having reception staff that are calm and understanding and are good at giving you different ways of dealing with a situation, especially considering at peak periods of travel how busy they can be, or late at night for themselves, how tired they must be doing shift work, has made the world of difference. So I think that's my better experiences have all come down to the check-in and reception staff, as well as those environments that I've come into.
To ensure positive and inclusive check-in experiences at your venue, check out our how-to resources in the Accommodate Us Toolkit for creating welcome stories and check-in procedures.